Gather round the flickering candlelight and prepare to cross the veil. Each week on the Boostifer Séance, your ghostly guides, Mrs. and Mr. Boost, summon a chilling new tale from the other side. From haunted mansions and cursed forests to restless spirits with unfinished business, this spectral duo dives deep into spine-tingling ghost stories that will haunt your dreams. Whether it's a forgotten legend or a real-life haunting, no story is too eerie for the booze to conjure. So light a candle, clutch your blanket tight, and dare to join the seance, because once you listen, something might just follow you home. Enter, if you dare.
Hello,
Oh,
hello.
hello. Welcome to episode 7. Oh,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
episode 7. Jesus, 7. That means we're now, yeah, you dealt with us for what, 7 weeks?
Dealt with us.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
dealt with us and me bashing all your ghost stories and yeah, yeah, been great.
Yeah, myth. I believe in aliens, but I don't believe in ghosts.
Fuck a
This
ghost.
week's gonna be rough for you.
It's gonna be rough for ya. get get your pitchforks ready.
Yeah,
Um, today's episode is on the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Sanctimonium. How do you say that word?
Sancha, what?
Sanctimama.
I believe the correct pronunciation is sanatorium.
That still seems like a janitorium. Uh,
What the hell is a janitorium?
you know what? I don't even know. I don't even know. Don't ask. Oh, all right, Mr. Boo, with the famous
No, 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 no,
synopsis.
no.
Oh,
Before we get in there, we
oh, oh,
yeah, I know. I'm gonna break routine.
break routine. Oh God, hit us with
How rough is this episode about to be?
it. I'm about to be sleeping on the couch.
That bad, huh?
I think so. I think so.
Why? I want to know why first before we get into this.
No, we gotta get it. We gotta get into it first before I just bash your hopes and dreams.
Okay.
Those were sounds of
So,
laughter, not tears, guys.
yeah, sure. So, um, well, this week's episode is on Waverly Hills Sanatorium. We figured we would keep with the routine of kind of doing the, for lack of a better word, an insane asylum or mental hospital, whatever you want to call it. Um, Last week we did G. Pierce Wood's memorial and kind of felt like we didn't pull as much information as I would have liked to. I feel like there was a lot more that could have been presented about that case. I was talking with some folks that actually the person that um, recommended that to the podcast, and I felt like there is stories out there, but my conclusion, and I know I'm off topic again, but my conclusion was because of the lack of participation on the side of the property owners that currently own it, I feel like there has been no paranormal investigation. It's people pretty much who either work for the government who get to go there and look at it, which is what my friend did, or you essentially break in and trespass and hope the cops don't come. So I feel like that's a lot of the reason why there's not much information on G. Pierce Woods. This week is the opposite. Um, I don't think I have ever watched a ghost hunter show that did not cover Waverly Hills. Um, Even way back at episode 1, I talked about um, the Tennessee Wraith Chasers, which is like a show that had like one season, and I think on Discovery Channel, maybe even YouTube, and it didn't really take off, I don't think. I talked about it briefly, but they even covered this, and it got pretty crazy. Miss Boo can say whatever she wants about things not happening here, but regardless, it got a little crazy. So this story is long. I'm going to warn you. I'm going to try to read it as spooky and fast as I can, but it is this sanatorium is rich in history. It actually did operate as a sanatorium. It operated as a few things before it was closed, so there is a lot to talk about historically. And then the two of us will obviously get into our heated disagreement that I feel coming. So, first, I'm going to cover the historical side. Now, this comes from the Waverly Hills Sanatorium website. They have a website. Before I read this and I get Miss Boo all riled up, I am going to lead with the fact that the property owners are very um, eager to allow people in to do ghost tours. And we were actually kind of joking about it earlier. If we lived closer, this would be a perfect place to kind of kick off our show if we ever decided to do like a IRL sort of investigation and put it as maybe one of our episodes for our podcast. But it is in Louisville, Kentucky, so it is a little far away from us. Um, but it's always been one of the things I wanted to go see. But leading up to that, the property owners do um, they do facilitate a historical tour, which is approximately 2 hours long during the daytime. They facilitate a paranormal tour, which is about 2 hours long at nighttime. And they also do two different, and Miss Boo's got it pulled up there. They do a public investigation, which is kind of my understanding is you kind of get a group of people separately that come together almost like a guided tour, but it's semi-guided and you're allowed a little bit more free roam and you can do your own sort of paranormal investigation. And then they also offer a professional investigation level, which does cost $1,000 for 10 people. Now, if you look at it, it's $100 a person for a group of 10. You get free
That's
roam
not
of
bad.
the.
That's not bad.
No, it's really not. And you get free roam of the building. And there is a guide there and a security officer. So if something happens or you need them, they're there, but they are only going to intervene if you need their assistance. So, I mean, now I don't know if the history will cover this. I did listen to a few podcasts today, and my understanding is that all of the proceeds from the ghost tours the owners want to renovate it into like an Airbnb slash hotel kind of situation. And all of the proceeds from the um, tours and different things like that you're hearing about go directly to those renovations of the building. So it's not like they're pocketing the money and walking away with it and just letting people roam the building. There are people who have been in recent years and you can when you go there to do a tour, they're still actively renovating the building, converting wings to new construction, stuff like that. So that's definitely something to add to it because I know money usually deters the belief in the paranormal. People think that because they're charging money, it's fake. And I'm pointing fingers at certain folks here because there are certain folks in this room that believe that. So, yeah, is the person in the room with us? Hello. Uh, but anyway, so I'm going to start off again. I'm sorry this is a little lengthy, but I think it needs to be read. Sorry, I need a drink.
Yep, take that sip of what is it, Coke?
Non-sponsored
Yep.
carbonated beverage. Non-sponsored carbonated beverage. I'll let you use your imagination.
It's in a red can.
With gold writing. Okay. The Waverly Hills Sanatorium is a former sanatorium located in the Waverly Hills neighborhood of Louisville, Kentucky. In the early 1900s, Jefferson County was ravaged by an outbreak of tuberculosis, known as the White Plague, which prompted the construction of a new hospital. The sanatorium opened in 1910 as a two-story facility able to accommodate between 40 and 50 tuberculosis patients. The hospital closed in 1961 due to the success of an antibiotic drug, streptomycin, in lowering the needs for such a facility. At some point, plans were made to turn the abandoned hospital into a hotel, but this website says it's no longer the case. The land that is known today as Waverly Hill was purchased by Major Thomas H. Hayes in 1883 as the Hayes family home. Since the new home was far away from any existing schools, Mr. Hayes decided to open a local school for his daughters to attend. He started a one-room schoolhouse on Pages Lane and hired Lizzie Lee Harris as the teacher. Due to Miss Harris's fondness for Walter Scott's Waverly novels, she named the schoolhouse Waverly School. Major Hayes liked the peaceful-sounding name, so he named his property Waverly Hill. The Board of Tuberculosis Hospital kept the name when they bought the land and opened the sanatorium. It is not known exactly when the spelling changed to exclude the second E and became Waverly Hills. However, the spelling fluctuated between both spellings many times over the years. In the early 1900s, Jefferson County was severely stricken with an outbreak of tuberculosis. There were many tuberculosis cases in Louisville at the time because of all the wetlands along the Ohio River, which were perfect for the tuberculosis bacteria. To try to contain the disease, a two-story wooden sanatorium was opened, which consisted of an administrative/main building and two open-air pavilions, each housing 20 patients for the treatment of early cases. In the early part of 1911, the city of Louisville began to make preparations to build a new Louisville City Hospital, and the hospital commissioners decided in their plans that there would be no provision made in the new city hospital for the admission of pulmonary tuberculosis, and the Board of Tuberculosis Hospital was given $25,000 to erect a hospital for the care of advanced cases of pulmonary tuberculosis. Due to constant need for repairs on the wooden structures, need for a more durable structure, as well as need for more beds so that people would not be turned away due to the lack of space, construction of a 5-story building that could hold more than 400 patients began in March 1924. The new building opened on October 17, 1926, but after the induction of streptomycin in 1943, the number of tuberculosis cases gradually lowered until there was no longer need for such a large hospital. The remaining patients were sent to Hazelwood Sanatorium in Louisville, and Waverly Hills closed its doors in June of 1961. That is the historical description. Now I'm going to pull the paranormal description. Okay. Waverly Hills Sanatorium has a reputation as one of the world's most haunted places. Prior to designation on the National Register of Historical Places, Waverly Hills had been left to decay. The abandoned hospital gained notoriety as a popular ghost hunting spot for local teens and lovers of the paranormal. It did not disappoint. Countless stories emerged of shadow people and ghostly children, cementing the building's sinister reputation. The notorious hospital has attracted the interest of professional paranormal investigators from across the country. Though its doors have been closed to patients for more than half a century, it seems not all the occupants have left the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. In 2001, Charles and Tina Mattingly purchased the property and began its restoration. Volunteers soon had their own encounters to add to the growing lore of Waverly Hills. Many reported unexplained slamming doors and sightings of a mysterious man in white drifting throughout the corridors. Others had run-ins with Timmy, a spectral boy who roams the hallways and likes to play ball. When the facility officially opened to the public for tours, visitors continued to corroborate these experiences. So that is the description from the Waverly Hills site. I feel like there is more to be said, so I'm going to read a little bit from usghostadventures.com. Mind you, US Ghost Adventures is a ghost hunting organization, for the lack of a better word, so take what they say with a grain of salt.
Mystery Inc. Incorporated.
Yeah. So this was posted 12/30/2024, so not too far away, just a couple months. Okay, it says Waverly Hills Sanatorium is a sprawling boomerang-shaped building located in Louisville, Kentucky along the Ohio River. At the turn of the 20th century, the Ohio River Valley was stricken with countless cases of tuberculosis, which was then referred to as white plague, white death, or consumption. With the disease spreading rapidly and no cure for it, a small hospital was built atop Waverly Hill to accommodate patients with early-stage tuberculosis. Over the years, that small hospital would grow into Waverly Hills Sanatorium, the site of pain, suffering, and death that went on for decades. Waverly Hills is now believed to be one of the most haunted places in the world. Despite all the research, hold on. There we go. It was trying to contact me for a ghost tour. Despite all the research that has been done on Waverly Hills Sanatorium, no one is certain how many people died there. Some claim that as many as 68,000 people died on the property, but the real number is believed to be closer to 8,000. Still, this is a staggering number of deaths to occur in one place. Added to that is the fact that not all of the deaths were the result of tuberculosis. 2 nurses took their own lives at Waverly Hills in the 1920s and 30s. A man was murdered inside the building when it was abandoned, and there's a story of a tragic accident involving the death of a boy who may also have been murdered. Even after Waverly Hills closed as a tuberculosis hospital, it reopened as a nursing home that developed a reputation for inhumane treatment of patients. As a result, paranormal investigators have identified several active hauntings within the massive complex. Waverly Hills Sanatorium is open to the public throughout the year, and ghost tours are available. Although parts of the building have been renovated, much of the hospital has remained derelict and untouched since it officially closed in the early 1980s. Paint peels off the doors, debris litters the hallway, and graffiti covers the walls, creating a distinctly unsettling atmosphere. No matter what changes are made to Waverly Hills Sanatorium, it's clear that the spirits are there to stay. Major Thomas H. Hayes originally owned the land on which Waverly Hills sits. In addition to building a house, Hayes had a one-room schoolhouse built for his daughters. They were taught by a woman named Lizzie Lee Harris, an avid fan of the Waverly novels by Sir Walter Scott. As time went on, the property became known as Waverly Hill. It's unclear when or why the second E was dropped and the 2 spellings were used. Just to clarify, it's spelt now Waverly Hills. Waverly Hill, the school, is spelled Waverley. Just so that I can clear that double E up. It's unclear when or why the second E was dropped, and the 2 spellings were used interchangeably for quite some time. Due to its low elevation and proximity to the Ohio River, Louisville became a hotspot for tuberculosis in the early 1900s. In 1906, the Board of Tuberculosis Hospital was formed to help combat the disease. In 1908, the board devised a plan to build a tuberculosis hospital for patients with early-stage TB. Waverly Hill was chosen due to its higher elevation, scenic views, and remote location. On July 26, 1910, Waverly Hills Sanatorium opened its doors to patients in the Louisville area. The original building was a modest 2-story wooden structure with 2 wings, one for men and one for women, that could accommodate 20 patients each. It cost only $25,000 to build. However, the number of patients at Waverly Hills quickly outgrew that space. Plans for the new Louisville City Hospital were launched in 1911, but this facility would not have a tuberculosis ward. In 1912, all the patients at the old city hospital were transported to Waverly Hills. Space became so tight that many of these patients lived in tents outside the sanatorium as additions to the building were quickly constructed. In 1915, a children's pavilion was added to Waverly Hills with 50 beds available. The children's pavilion was both for children with tuberculosis and for children whose parents were being treated at the sanatorium. By the 1920s, the time had come for a more modern building. The Board of Tuberculosis Hospital gave Waverly Hills $1.1 million to construct a new building. Designed by architect D.X. Murphy, the new building was a 5-story structure totaling 180,000 square feet. The new building allowed every patient to have their own room, telephone, radio, and solarium porch. Construction began in May of 1924, and the building opened to patients on October 17, 1926. Waverly Hills Sanatorium was a segregated facility, so only white patients were allowed in the new building. Black patients and other people of color received lesser care in an old wooden structure that still stands today. As Waverly Hills grew, it became a self-sustaining property with its own zip code, post office, laundry, butcher, water treatment facility, and acres of farmland. As a result, Waverly Hills had limited contact with the outside world to prevent infection. However, this also made life at Waverly Hills isolating. Doctors and nurses could not leave the property and live full-time at Waverly Hills. Because tuberculosis was a relatively new disease with no cure, new treatment methods were constantly being explored. The staples for treatment at Waverly Hills were fresh air, a healthy diet, and plenty of rest. Fresh air was encouraged so much that photos of patients sitting in lounge chairs covered in snow during the winter exist. Sunlight was also believed to treat tuberculosis, so patients with TB underwent heliotherapy on the roof of the new building, giving them extended exposure to sunlight. Unfortunately, there were cruder methods for treating the disease. Patients would sometimes undergo artificial pneumothorax procedures that wholly or partially collapse the infected lung, which a balloon would replace. Patients could also have lymph node removed from the lung during a lobectomy or have portions of the lung removed in a pneumectomy. The most extreme treatment was, I'm going to slaughter this, thoracoplasty, which involved removing 7 to 8 ribs, which was believed to allow greater lung expansion. For patients whose TB had spread to their brain, doctors administered electroshock therapy to combat the psychological effects of the disease to little avail. As you might imagine, death was a near daily occurrence at Waverly Hills due to the extreme and often ineffective treatment methods. The constant cloud of death over the sanatorium usually resulted in low morale among patients. The death rate at Waverly Hills was eventually became so high that a secret tunnel was constructed to move bodies out of the sanatorium. The tunnel is commonly referred to today as the Body Chute. Now, I'm going to stop for a second. If you know anything about Waverly Hills, the Body Chute was not constructed originally to bring bodies out of the building. That's the first big thing in this story that I've heard that's wrong. It was originally to bring supplies in and out of the building from the loading area, and it was converted to the Body Chute after the death rate got so high. I'm just going to put that out there because I feel like somebody's going to be like, no, it wasn't originally a Body Chute, and it wasn't. You're right. Talking about you.
Are you referring to the death tunnel?
Death tunnel, Body Chute, whatever you want to call it.
We'll get into that.
Uh-huh. In 1943, an antibiotic called streptomycin was developed to effectively treat TB. After it became widely available, it was administered at Waverly Hills in 1949. As a result, the patient population steadily decreased through the 1950s, and in 1961, the remaining patients at Waverly were moved to the nearby Hazelwood Sanatorium. When Waverly Hills shut its doors, it housed approximately 50,000 patients over 51 years. A year after its closure, Waverly Hills Sanatorium reopened in 1962 as a nursing home called the Woodhaven Geriatric Center. Woodhaven was meant to treat patients with dementia, mental illness, and physical disabilities. Sadly, the center was constantly understaffed and there were widespread rumors of patient neglect. Cockroach infestations, archaic modes of electroshock therapy, and other inhumane living conditions led to the closure of Woodhaven in 1982. Following Hazelwood's closure, developer J. Clifford Todd purchased Waverly Hills for $3,500,000. Sorry, I had to count my zeros. Todd initially planned to convert the buildings into a minimum security prison. However, his plans were quickly quashed after locals banded together to protest the opening of a prison. Todd considered turning Waverly Hills into apartments, but this plan also fell through. Waverly Hills welcomed yet another owner when Robert Alberhasky purchased it in March of 1996. Alberhasky's goal with the property was to construct the largest statue of Jesus in the world. He based his plans on a statue of Jesus on Corcovado Mountain in Rio de Janeiro. God, I slaughtered that. You know what I'm talking about. The one on the mountain.
Yeah, big Jesus.
Jesus, yeah. Aberhasky hired Louisville-based sculptor Ed Hamilton and architect Jasper Ward to have a 150-foot tall Jesus statue placed on the roof of Waverly Hills Central Building. Alberhaski wanted to convert the building into a combination chapel, theater, and gift shop. Of course, Christians and their gift shops. Unfortunately, his, his fundraiser to raise $8 million for this massive project only succeeded in raising $3,000 over the course of a year. Aberhaski subsequently abandoned the project and Waverly Hills altogether. After being more or less vacant for nearly 20 years, Waverly Hills Sanatorium was purchased by Charlie and Tina Mattingly in 2001. They created the Waverly Hills Historical Society 2 years later to restore the crumbling building. A wide range of hauntings have been reported at Waverly Hills Sanatorium, shocking even the most seasoned paranormal investigators. For example, people have encountered the ghost of a doctor in a white lab coat entering the fourth floor operating room. Witnesses have seen a ghost chef in the abandoned kitchen and smelled baking bread. On the fifth floor, visitors have encountered the full bodied apparition of a woman running down the corridor with her wrist cut, screaming. Faces often appear in the windows of empty rooms, and neighbors reported seeing lights on at the sanatorium during the years when there was no electricity. During the years that Waverly Hills stood abandoned, 2 men reportedly died on the property. One was said to be murdered by drug dealers, and the other fell down an elevator shaft with his dog. Since then, the apparitions of both men and the dog have been seen on the property. Owner Tina Mattingly even reported seeing the ghost man and his dog while locking up after a tour. In addition to these identifiable spirits, countless shadow figures lurk amongst the 5 floors of Waverly Hills. The most disturbing is an entity known as the Creeper. The Creeper does not seem to be human, but rather a large shadow figure that has been spotted climbing the walls and ceiling of the 4th floor. Another terrifying entity visitors are rumored to. Oh my gosh. Another terrifying entity visitors are rumored to encounter at Waverly Hills is doppelgangers. These entities look precisely like their victim. Imagine seeing someone who looks just like you in the dark, decrepit hallways of Waverly Hills. There's an old superstition that people have been known to die after seeing their doppelganger, which makes witnessing one at the hospital even more traumatic. Waverly Hills is filled with the sounds of the past. Auditory hauntings include screams, moans, sounds of doctors performing surgery, and relentless coughing. Children's laughter has also been heard, a chilling reminder of the young patients who perished here. Witnesses also felt spirits holding their hands while walking down the hallway. Others have felt body pain as if experiencing the symptoms of TB or the barbaric surgeries once performed. Okay, so I just talked my jaw off. So um, bring it on with the hatred.
You sure? You sure you want me to? You don't want me to talk?
Yeah, and I'm just be prepared to be interrupted.
All right. So we're gonna go through this bit by bit from what I found doing my research. And if you want to see my notes, they're gonna be in the Patreon. You can see all the middle fingers I give.
Yeah, little plug. The If you are a paid member of the Patreon, which is $5 a month, which helps fund the podcast, and things like that. We currently have the G. Pierce Woods Patreon report up.
Mm-hmm.
So that includes all of my research, which my research is not written. I find stuff online and kind of do things my way. And then Miss Boo's notes are also attached on there. Good luck reading her handwriting, but it's like you know, whatever they're called, hieroglyphics. So it's kind of part of the experience. But yeah, so you can either, if you don't want to pay the $5 a month, which is probably the easiest thing to do, we also will make each episode available to purchase individually if you want to see our research on those. The bigger the topic, the more research we do, the more hardy the Patreon post will be for that. So please head over there, and you can also be a free member. I'm going to try to share a little bit of free stuff. But the full Twitch VODs, more of our witty banter, that sort of thing, will be included with the paid membership on Patreon. So there's my plug. Continue talking.
Oh, all right. So I did my research, and I'm going to give these guys a shout out. The Kentucky Melody on YouTube. They are the ones I listen to in regards to this subject, because who best to listen to than the people actually from the place. Yeah. So, like Mr. Boo said, this place started in the 1800s, because one man wanted to homeschool his kids, and he was on a
It
hill.
always starts with the homeschoolers, man. Weird shit always starts with the homeschoolers.
We have nothing against homeschoolers. Just want to say it out there before you cancel us. Just know that the paranormal people have it out for you, okay? Just know that. Not us. But yep, then in the 1900s, that's when the white plague came and creeping around. Yep, tuberculosis was spreading fast, leaving, I can't read my own handwriting sometimes, a trail of death and bodies. Um, and it looked like Louisville was the hardest hit, and the sick needed a place to be isolated. So in 1910, someone thought, hey, there's a giant hill that we can place, we can put everyone in there who's sick up on that hill. They thought, because it was up high, that I don't know what they really thought. People thought that the high ground and fresh air might cure the disease, as like a reverse Revenge of the Sith situation there. I imagine them saying, Anakin, I have the high ground, but
Oh Lord, have mercy.
it didn't really help much being that high up in the air. The had to throw in my little Star Wars thing. Sorry. Uh the plague did get worse in the 1920s. Um so that's when they decided to build the new massive Waverly Hills, which was a 5-story brick building. Um it was the biggest TB hospital in the world at that time. It was isolated away from the world. Ain't no one had time for that tuberculosis. Um, the docs, they, so what I heard is that they experimented on the patients, because no one knew what to do with when it came to TB. It was a new disease. So they tried fresh air, they tried sunlight, and you know what? It's not a hospital without some torture. They tried collapsing patients' lungs so they can rest, removing some ribs so they can breathe. Um, and most who went in never came out. I mean, you went in expecting not to come out. So then, with all those people dying, they didn't want the patients there. And I know this is going to be against what Mr. Boo said, but they didn't want the patients there to be discouraged and to be disheartened. So they built the death tunnel.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Oh,
sit in
stop.
you
Stop.
sit
We're gonna
sit.
clarify this. We're gonna clarify this because I knew this was gonna be a topic of contention. The death chute was not constructed after the hospital was built. The death chute existed in the hospital, but it was used for supplies. Once the death rate got so high that they feared, you are correct, that they feared that people would become discouraged because they were having people die at a rate of like a person a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's ridiculous. That's a lot. When you're open, I mean, you think about how long this hospital was open. Somebody was dying every day. Somebody was going to see those people, so they repurposed this supply chute into the death chute. It was not always constructed specifically to haul bodies out of the place. They backed a hearse up to the bottom of the chute. They brought the bodies down in the middle of the night. They put them in the car and they drove them off. But originally, that chute was used for supply delivery to the different floors of the hospital, just like any other hospital has. They have the behind the scene corridors to get places that the normal people don't go. But yes, you're 95% right. But it did not get constructed after the hospital existed. It got converted from what it was originally intended to in the new building to the death chute
You done?
for now.
All right. So during all that time, from let's see, the 1910s to around 1940 is when the y'all really gonna make me say it. All right, I'm gonna give this one shot. That's it. Streptomycin. This,
Streptomycin?
yeah, that one. Uh,
Streptomycin.
was a new drug that was used for TB, and they ended up seeing the White Plague be defeated. So in 1962, Waverly closed its doors as a TB sanatorium, then converted to the Woodhaven Old People Hospital, which dealt with, dementia, mental illness, and the people too sick to care for themselves. And when they have an old people hospital, there's never not rumors of mistreatment. So, here comes the stories of the mistreatment, which people turn into ghost stories because of how they were mistreated. Not saying that's not right. I mean, wait. I'm not saying that they should have been mistreated. I'm just saying, once again, just because something tragic happens somewhere doesn't mean there's ghosts there. Because TB was a worldwide thing, so just imagine all these other hospitals not having any ghosts in their hospitals. Oh my. Oh my. There had to be ghosts at this hospital just because I don't know. People ran with it. We'll carry on. You can sigh. You can sigh. Um, so that was between 1962 to 1981. All the mistreatment. Um, the state shut the place down, and then each year grew creepier and creepier as it was shut down while they were trying to decide what to do with it. First, like Mr. Boo said, I don't know if it was really first, but this was the order I got it in. Someone tried to turn it into a church. And can you imagine going to church inside of the death tunnel? Just walking up the death tunnel,
You
knowing
in this damn death tunnel.
knowing a bunch of dead bodies came down this tunnel. I'm going up there and saying, Hallelujah.
You act like they were going to use that as the front walkway for the church.
They might have. We don't know. We don't know. And then in the 1990s, it looked like they wanted to turn it into a luxury apartment. None of these ideas worked because I mean, who, who would find a TB hospital and an old people mental home a nice place to live? Who? Show me. Show me. Why? I don't know why they thought it was a good idea. But in the 2000s, you had the creepy couple. If you're watching, just, just know if I heard ghost stories about a building and I'm going to purchase it, I am burning it down. I am burning it down. I'm not bringing it back to life. I'm not turning it into a haunted place and keeping the veil open, so creepy stuff can keep on coming in. That's like playing Jumanji. No, that's like seeing the Jumanji board and rolling the dice. You done you messed up. You just messed up. Don't do it. Why? Why poke the bear? Like, oh,
Because according to you, it's not real. So
it has to not be because at this point you're just rolling the dice and hoping they don't become worse ghosts or whatever they are there. Don't get me started.
no, get started. I want to hear it.
But then, yep, like he said, they offered tours, daytime for history and the nighttime for the ghost tours.
No comment about how much they charge.
It's just money. It's just money. They just want money. Money. Waverly became a magnet for ghost hunters, folks with cameras and recorders hoping to see something spooky. That's when the infamous creeper was created as a shadow figure that crawled the walls. And like, I don't know about you, but all hospitals are creepy. No matter what wing you go through, all hospitals. Okay, unless you're going to like the newborn section and you see those little babies. But if you go to the old people section of the hospital, it's always creepy. It's just not.
Let's clarify. Hold on, because I am an avid. I am one of those people that's weird, and I like airports and hospitals. I find comfort in airports and hospitals. So, so where I'm getting at with that is you are being specific to like I would say what you're referring to is sort of like a hospice wing is where you feel uncomfortable, because I feel uncomfortable there too. But that's what this I think would relate more to. But anyway, keep going. I didn't mean to stop it.
Yeah, like the hospice or like the mental health wing of a hospital, they're always creepy. I mean, they just are. It's just, yeah. But so the guy spoke about two popular legends, which you were going off and saying, I don't know, I heard something different from you. You said it was a little boy. The dude in the podcast said it was a little girl named Mary.
There's 2 kids that died.
Okay,
The
so
Timmy is a boy.
okay, so I didn't hear about the Timmy one, but I heard about the little girl named Mary. They said she's the most famous one. She roams the hall playing with a ball and giggling. Said to have died from TB, searching for her lost friends in a white dress. Might hear her walking around asking someone to play with her. And then the creeper, which is the dark shadow figure that crawls in the walls. Some felt it watching them, and they say it's like more of a sinister energy and not an actual person. Um, the typical footsteps in the hall, which just could be because it's an old building. Um, the cries and moans, which once again could just be because it's an old building.
Hold on, pause. I think I'm not trying to talk bad about your podcaster, but he got the names wrong. So Mary was the nurse's name that died. Timmy is the boy that played with the ball. Mary was the nurse.
Okay,
At least
yeah,
that's what
he must have had the information.
it is. Fine. I just want to clarify. So Mary, what is her name? Hillenberg is the nurse that died, and Timmy is the story of the boy that kicks the ball and he fell off the roof or whatever, got pushed or whatever.
Yeah. And then they do the overnight investigations, and then every year they host a haunted house event called Haunted Waverly Hills in October. It's every October. It's like a fundraiser to help repair the building once again, burn it down, destroy the veil. If you believe in ghosts, destroy the veil. Don't keep it up. Let's turn this into Stranger Things and destroy the veil. Knock it down. And here we go with the points. Okay. All right. So this is where you can start arguing.
Yay! Hold on, let me sit up. Hold on.
First off, it's a creepy building. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's creepy. Yep. I'm not gonna argue that point.
Do I believe that it has ghosts? Not a damn chance. Not a damn chance. So, one,
Can I ask you a question first? Hold on. Stop. Let me ask a question. You wholeheartedly, with every fiber in your being, deny the fact that ghosts exist anywhere. Yes or no question. We're in Congress right now. Miss Bucifer, under oath today, do you swear that you believe that anywhere in existence ghosts are not real? Yes or no?
Wholeheartedly?
Wholeheartedly, you truly, to the grave, and your body will rot there because you don't come back as a spirit, believe that there are no ghosts anywhere in the world? Answer that question first, and I got follow-up questions.
I believe there could be, but
Nope, no but. I don't want your butt yet. I want a yes or no.
oh,
Yes or no? Do you believe that there are ghosts anywhere in the world? Anywhere in existence, do you believe that there are some type of ghost? And I don't mean freaking aliens, I mean ghosts.
yes, but in this
Okay,
situation,
no, I don't want your butt. So there's something in you that tells you that somewhere, and I'm not saying you got to put a you believe that they're here or you believe that they're not there. We gonna get there. But you're telling me that out of all the places in the world, one of the places that has the most potential to be haunted, you just utterly with determination can say that there are no ghosts ever to exist in this place. That's your standing. Let me clarify for our listeners that your standing is that you have a fiber somewhere in your body that believes in them, but one of the most documented and haunted places in the world, you're just gonna put your foot down and say, nope, they ain't here. This ain't it. They're in some hole in gonorrhea over there. I don't know, but they ain't here.
yes.
Jesus Christ.
I just did once again. There's just not enough. There's people that
Not enough what? Not enough what? You didn't believe the 100 years of documentation on the other scariest house in Britain. What more do you want from this story to prove to you that something is going on here? Please elaborate.
evidence. There's never any
Evidence of what?
a ghost walking or something. Like, come on, like nothing.
There's plenty.
I
There's plenty. They see
I
stuff
haven't
all
seen
the
none.
time. The freaking owner has been haunted like every time she walks the freaking building.
That's because she's trying to keep the story going. She needs that money to redo it.
This this place this place is one of the most potential places. You want to put potential on it, you want to say I'm going to say is one of the places that if something exists in the spectral plane, this is where it is. You're going to tell me that some dude in the middle of Poland was lifted up into a freaking circular disc in the sky and dropped on the top of a coal pile, but you're not going to tell me that thousands of people died and were tortured in this place and they're just all buried in the ground somewhere and this ain't it. This ain't it. You need a ghost, in the words of a friend, you need a ghost to walk up and slap you in the face for you to believe it.
Am I still on trial?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is a good one because I'm trying to wrap my small little brain around the BS explanation that you have here.
But tell me why is there Louisville's like Waverly is not the only hospital.
First of all, it ain't Louisville. I learned this because I've always said it right. It's Louisville.
Louisville.
It's syllables, you Yankee.
You mean to tell me that out of all the TB hospitals, this one is the only one?
No,
The
no.
only one to
But
experience
but
ghosts.
no, I'm sure it's not. But let's take G. Pierce Memorial for instance, right? They experience ghosts. Property owners don't let anyone on the property to investigate. Everybody that's been able to trespass there has said there's stuff going on there, but they can't facilitate the investigations to determine it. This is the largest sanatorium for tuberculosis that ever existed. It had the most deaths documented. This is the reason is, and again, I'm going to say it and you're going to hate it, but because of the amount of death and torture and hatred and just overall bad juju that went into this freaking place, this is why this is where the stories are from. So you're telling me that you'd rather the stories come from a place that nobody really, like 2 or 3 people died at, 2 or 3 people stayed at. Somebody says there's a ghost there. You believe them over someone who says there's a ghost where 68,000 people died?
Again, there's no evidence. They have no photos of the ghost. They have uh, let's say out of
They ain't
100.
got no photos of the freaking spaceships neither.
Yes, they do. I've seen
No, they
I've seen
don't. They
the
got
pictures.
pictures of a light. There's pictures, research it. There's pictures in here of people who, the podcast that I listened to, which by the way, I wanted to call out real quick. I'm going to calm down when I say their name. The Darker Side of Life on Spotify. Go check them out. It's 2 girls. They do a great podcast. They did an episode on this. It was awesome. Anyway, they found pictures. They found, but I'm not going to show them to you. You know why? Because you probably won't freaking believe them.
No, I would like to see them. The guy I watched did not show any pictures whatsoever. So with that already, I'm already seeing nothing. And then mind you,
So you
100,
watched one podcast and that's what you went off of.
100% yes. They had the most stuff, and I worked. I watched it a couple times. But look, so it's just like reviews. You ever go off of reviews on Google and you see a whole bunch of bad reviews, but you don't really see a bunch of good reviews because no one's going to have a great freaking time and go, oh, I'm just going to go on Google and let them know, oh, I had the best cookie I ever had at Disney World. No, they're going to, people love to complain. People love to tell stories. So, yes, the ones who experienced encounters are going to go and spread those encounters. But what about the ones who didn't experience anything? What about the many people that went and never experienced anything? They're not going to brag about their experience because they experienced nothing. So we can't say that, I don't know, it's just not enough. We can't go based on a bunch of people who went in
So that brings me
expecting
back to the
ghosts.
question: what is enough? What There's pictures I sent them to you. You want to pull them up, put them up, or
Where'd
they
you
can
send
go
them
on
to?
they're in the chat. You can put these up. I won't use these in the Patreon.
Gotcha.
Pull these up, and you tell me if to me this stuff isn't this. This is more speculation. So I mean, there's documented. Now I'm not saying, and I said this at the beginning. There is organizations that go out there and they ruin the ability for us to make this point because there are ghost hunting organizations that are not legit and they do this for money. But there are people who have gone out there and done actual investigations and have actually found truth to this. Okay.
Yeah, if I saw that, I would believe like there was a person there. But normally, when people take pictures, there's like nothing. All you see is an okay, what they call an orb, just there, and they're like,
No, but
oh,
that's not what's
that's a
here.
spirit.
And pull up the next one. Pull up the one that is like through. Yeah, that one.
I
Okay,
believe
well,
it.
that is supposed to be a picture of the creeper thing.
See, but then that denounces what they say about. See, there's too many stories that denounce the other story. Some people say the Creeper Man is an essence. He's not really a person. He's just like a
And
like a
and I'm going to tell
floating
you right now,
guy.
I'm on board with you. I don't believe it all. I don't believe that people see doppelgangers. I don't think people are walking through Waverly Hills and go, "Hey, look, it's Alex." Oh shit, I'm dead. I don't think that happened. I think that's something. And like I said when I was reading it, take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. But some of this stuff, but I just don't understand how we're going to sit here and say that you have a fiber in you somewhere that wants to believe, and in the most documented, reported places, you don't believe. You got one Joe Schmo that is out tending to hogs one night and says he saw something, and you believe that over. I mean, you've got 20 years of people who have documented sightings at this place. At some point, at some point, you've got to believe one of the people over 20 years. Someone like you went into that place. I ain't gonna see shit. There ain't gonna be nothing here, y'all. Ain't gonna be nothing here. This is fake. This is just people died in here and they're laying out back and their bodies are rotted and that's it. They don't go nowhere after that. And they left believing.
I feel like that's what I want to that's the story I would want to hear. Is someone who, like myself, went in with a bunch of doubt and okay, felt something. Yeah, okay, you can't explain what you felt, but you felt something. This is just I feel like a bunch of
They
people
talk
went
about that all the time.
expecting. These people went expecting to see something. They
Not
expected
everybody for
reality.
20 years. Sure, the big named research paranormal investigators knew what they were walking into, but there's got to be people who have done tours who walked in and were like the podcast I listened to when she actually went on the tour, and there was stuff that she could not explain. The ball, they did the whole ball thing where they threw the ball down the hallway and she's like, you know what, the ball didn't fucking move. But there's, I guess, a podcast, maybe it's the one, was the one you watch with two guys.
No, it was just one guy.
Well, there's one with two guys, and I guess they used to work for Ghost Hunters or something. They started their own podcast thing, and it like the ball rolled into a room and it rolled under graffiti with his name written on the wall. Bullshit. Whatever. But there is one where they have an audio recording of a ball bouncing. Okay, so they were bounced. The ball was bouncing, right? Like they threw it, boom, boom, boom. Like it would get close to the ground like that. The ball goes boom, 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 stops, boom, 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 boom. Like somebody caught it. It was the creepiest fucking thing. But the point is like there are documented cases of people going here and like, this is legit. This legit happened to me. But they're they have you're never going to get like there's not going to be a scientific fact that's going to come and say, yep, we tested the air and it's 98% ghost fiber. It's just not going to happen. And that's what I don't understand, what I've got to give you, other than, like I said, a damn ghost walking you up and slapping you in the face and saying, hey buddy, I'm right here, hello.
I think, and this is just me. I think because I grew up loving scary movies and the way I taught myself to, you know what, not to be afraid of the scary movies, that I don't know, people just telling me that, oh, there was a ghost right there. Like, I'm not going to believe it. I myself, I guess, would need to experience something because I, in my head, have told myself as a child, they're not real. They're not real. They're not real. They're not real.
Okay, so can we take the assumption that, because you know me, I've seen one, or what I believe was one, can we take it from it's bullshit, it doesn't exist, it's not real, to it might be real, and if I saw it, I'd believe it?
Yes. I would take if I had yes, I would take this place there.
Like, for
Yeah.
instance, if I took you here, and I 100% believe, understand skepticism. You've never seen a ghost. You've never experienced anything like that. I also don't think you've ever experienced an alien abduction, but that's neither here nor there. But
Area 51 exists. That's all I gotta say of that.
okay, I might believe you, but I can. You got to understand my skepticism. You've never been abducted by aliens either, so I don't. And I'm just. I mean, but I at least want to get out of you that there this has to be a situation where this place, if anywhere, has the probability of having ghosts if they are real. If they are true, if the stories are true, and there is a spectral plane between here and wherever the great beyond is, and someone's stuck in it, these people are the ones that would have been stuck in it. That's what I'm trying to get across here. I'm not asking you to say that you 100% believe in it, but I'm asking you if you had an experience here, would you believe in it?
Yes, I would probably. Yeah, if there could be an experience anywhere, I would probably. I'd probably give it to this place.
That's what I'm saying. Is this has got to be a hotspot. If the stories of how spectral beings come to be, whether it be demonic possession, whether it be ghosts, whatever, this is like breeding ground for that. If it's true, this is the breeding ground for it.
Yes, this is. I feel like this is the place where ghost stories are made from. It's a big enough to give people stories to make. This place could be a movie. I don't know if they've made one, but Spielberg, get on it.
Okay.
But that was all I had in regards to, me being I guess in this case, the protagonist. Big word. Woohoo.
You'd be the antagonist.
Fuck.
I'm the protagonist.
Well, I messed that up.
Main character energy.
Editor, take that out. But yeah, I don't know. I guess telling myself for so long that they don't exist, it just stories like this, my brain instantly goes to, okay, they don't exist. It's not that scary. Don't think about it. They don't exist.
And
you don't have to be afraid. They're not that scary. It's not real.
And did you know that one part of believing, one of the steps of believing, is denial? Did you know that?
Oh god, we're going to the 10 steps. 10 wait, what is it? What is it? 12 steps. 12 steps. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
No, I'm fair. I'm happy to leave it like that. I think that if we can come to a consensus that if they exist, this is a place where they would exist.
Oh yeah, with what I've learned from this place, it would have
And it
definitely been a good scary movie. It would definitely be a good, like, turn the creeper into a scary movie or something. I don't know if any movies.
and it definitely goes into show that, and this is why, for our viewers and listeners, this is specifically why we do different research and we don't talk about it until we get here. Because I feel like we researched the same place and got two totally different results. So most of my facts were pulled from Waverly Hills Historical Society, so that's why I'm leaning on them. My podcast shared a lot of stuff, and I'm going to tell you what, y'all go listen to her podcast. She did an hour and a half long episode on it, and they dug deep, man. They dug deep on the TV. They dug deep. That's where I found out the truth behind the Death Chute. They dug into that, found out that story. But just take it with a grain of salt when you're researching things like this, and it's you got to watch what you're reading on, because some things you're reading on, then they're trying to encourage you to use their services. And we had that at what was the last one we did?
The last one we
Well,
did.
last one was G Pierce, but was that the one with the ghost tours? It was, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like them, they have one ghost tour agency that does all the tours and everything. So you go to their website, and of course they make it sound scarier than it probably is. Same thing with this, but to me, facts that the Historical Society has pulled are probably the most reliable, if anything. I'm not saying they're 100% true. Nothing you find on the internet is 100% true, but that's where I pulled a lot of my facts from. So this just kind of goes to show why we do our research separately.
And then it also goes like to show like I don't know. If let me ask you, if I was a person and I was making a hotel, would you spend the night here? Would you? If you truly 100% believe in ghosts and with all like the stuff you hear about the bad ghost, good ghost, Casper, the friendly ghost, would this be the place? I mean, they want to turn into like an overnight hotel.
Are you asking me as an
I'm asking
avid
you
believer and interested in the paranormal, or as a passerby wanting to stop at a hotel?
I want both answers.
As a passerby stopping for looking for a hotel, you can fuck right off. As someone who wants to experience something scary, and you know me, come Halloween time, if this was within driving distance of me, we'd be spending the freaking night here. So it depends on what your motives are. Again, going back to motives, it depends. If my motive is I'm looking for something scary and I want to shit my pants on a Saturday night, hell yeah, we're going. If I'm driving through Louisville, Kentucky and looking for a Days Inn and I come across Waverly Hills Hotel, I'm going to keep fucking driving.
And then I guess my answer is hell no.
And one of our
you got me being the skeptic and the non-believer, and you want me to my first experience with the ghost to spend the night and have it be okay. It's your luck since you don't believe. It's your luck. You're gonna get the naughty ghost. It's gonna be some paranormal activity type ish, and he's gonna take my sheets off and I think
that's a ghost or me.
I think I watched the wrong paranormal.
Yeah, I think you downloaded a pirated version.
Yeah, because it was like the sheet came off I'm just gonna stop.
No, yeah. All right, so we're gonna wrap up for the podcast. Like I remind everyone every episode, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon. Please come check out our Patreon. This one should be pretty good. We're going to have a lot of cool, interesting stuff on there. If you're listening on Spotify or YouTube, the full Twitch VOD is uploaded to Patreon, or will be uploaded to Patreon. So for a measly $5 a month, you can come support us there. If you follow us or hear this on Twitch and you'd like to come support us over here, come subscribe to Miss Boo, and it all comes back to the podcast and helps us out. So, yep, the usual stuff, but that's it for this week, and we'll see you next week. And as always,
stay
stay spooky.